Welcome to the Young Turks Friday Power Panel. Wow, that music ended abruptly. And I was actually getting really into it, but now I feel kind of unenergetic. Cenk's still not here. We'll be back Monday, but we have an awesome panel. I think that this is going to be a funny show because we've got a great assortment of different political comedians here. Should be fun.
You know, I think it's too high of an expectation. I think this is going to crash.
Yeah,
I really feel.
think so?
I have a bad feeling about today. But
as long as that happens in the second hour, I'm fine with it.
Like super excited to see a movie. You know,
too much hype.
It's okay.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you agree with?
Going to underdeliver.
I think we'd be fairly certain of that. Brian Unger here. We got Jimmy Dore and Ben Mankiewicz as well. Should be fun. I was worried going in. Fridays sometimes, or there's not a lot of news sometimes on Fridays because people leave Washington and everything. But then I saw that it was Values Voter Summit time, and it's always fun when it's that time of the year. So why don't we actually start off with? Oh, before we start off with that. I'm supposed to tell you that Cenk has been in Dublin all week. He's in Ireland, and he did a show, actually, which we'll be posting to the members' content soon. As we speak, he's doing a TYT meetup at the Ferryman, which I am told by this iPad is a fairly famous pub there. So that sounds fairly awesome.
Are they live
I think that should be fun.
right now?
I think they're doing it right now, the meetup.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're doing a meetup now. The show is something else.
Okay.
Yeah, that was done yesterday.
Is that what they call it, a meetup now?
Yeah.
Getting drunk with a bunch of people. A meetup.
Sounds fancier and more official.
I'm going to do a meetup later tonight, too.
Yeah, me too.
I do meetup sometimes by myself in a bottle of tequila. Okay, let's start off with the news of the day. It's that time of year again, Values Voter Summit time. If you're not familiar with it, it's one of the largest yearly political conferences for social conservatives, generally Christian social conservatives. It was started back in 2006 by the Family Research Council. And all that's the basic facts. To get a real idea of what it's like, we've got some quotes from past Values Voter Summits, and we also have a little mashup. Here are some of their greatest hits.
What we are seeing south of our border is nothing short of a war being waged by these narco-terrorists.
You know, Obamacare is really, I think, the worst thing that has happened in this nation since slavery.
If I could insist, this might sound a little strange, but if I could insist, as long as they are legal in our nation, abortions would be done in the public square.
In the face of this threat, we shouldn't take any options off the table.
And maybe then we might hear angels singing when we ponder the glory of conception.
I mean, that video could have been an hour long.
Yeah.
What was with the chanting? Who?
I'm not entirely sure.
I
think
you what it is.
Yeah.
And I know that my grandmother was a Pentecostal, and she once started getting fever, and in the back seat of the car, she did that and started speaking in tongues. So it's a varietal of speaking in tongues. That little
so?
trilling little
Robert
sound.
De Niro as he sinks at the end of Cape Fear. Goes beneath the water.
I'm here to give you that context.
Yeah,
All right,
I see. I thought he was doing some sort of Muslim mockery of their ululating or something like that. But it is, as we said, it's a fairly Christian organization. They might have been speaking in tongues. I loved Meadow Soprano there talking about the glory of conception and how we would understand it if only we could see them actually do the abortion in like the town square.
Yeah,
And we're in nothing short of a war with these narco-terrorists. That was not this year. So somehow that has been a super quiet war. Yeah, that war didn't really develop the way Rick Perry hoped.
Yeah.
Well, from the town square, I'm trying to think, from the back alley to the town square, progress. I'm trying to figure out the linkage there. How would that?
Because what she's saying is that why are you doing your abortions in secret?
Yeah.
So let's do them out in the open and show everybody just the horror of what exactly you're doing, and then maybe we'll hear angels sing.
Yeah, like if you're not ashamed of it, why not do it where everyone can see? Like when you get your colon checked.
Yeah, like I go into a private room when I get my teeth cleaned.
Exactly. It's a medical procedure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't have my weight tested in public, let alone
I don't even
an
get
abortion.
my hair cut in public.
Yeah. That's the video we've got for you. There were a couple other quotes, though, that I do want to talk about, just so you get an idea of, I mean, basically they trot out every year the up-and-coming and largest social conservatives, and they try to out-crazy each other.
It's like, so this is called the Values Voter Summit,
yeah.
and It's like the Comic-Con of bigotry and hate, right?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. This is back in 2006. This is the inaugural year of the Value Voter Summit. Right-wing pastor Dwight McKissick told the audience that year that the gay rights movement is a satanic effort birthed from the pit of hell itself. He said the gay rights movement, I believe, was birthed and inspired by the Antichrist, who he theorized was gay himself.
Can you put up that first graphic again, please, Jesus? Please, Jesus. Right-wing pastor, he said the audience here that the gay rights movement is a satanic effort birthed from the pit of hell. It is an imaginary effort, because Satan doesn't exist, effort birthed from the pit of hell, a pretend place. It's a pretend effort birthed from a pretend place that is make-believe.
And it's a pretend threat to every American living today.
It's a serious pretend threat, though.
I've actually seen that movie, that porn, before, and it was very hot. It was the whole pit of hell and the Satan. It's very hot.
And also, Tony Perkins, the president of the Family Research Council, obviously very influential there, said at one point back in 2009, I believe, he said that militaries that allow openly gay members are the ones that participate in parades. They don't fight wars to keep the nation and the world free. Having gay members in your military, obviously a very niche extremist position. I did a little bit of research to find out if there were any examples. And Albania, Argentina, Australia, Austria, the Bahamas, Belgium, Bermuda, and Brazil. That's the A's and some of the B's. I'll stop there. Yeah. Almost every single one.
Israel, which allows gay people in the military, they're always doing parades.
Yeah,
Israel.
and the parade's flamboyant.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So,
I don't think Israel has ever had a military parade. They're too busy killing Palestinians.
Yes. The Values Voter Summit has become so extreme they can't even get behind killing Palestinians anymore.
I didn't know that the Antichrist was gay. I sort of imagined that sort of guys who believe that are constantly worried that their wives or girlfriends are going to, sort of go to the dark side and sleep with Satan. Now there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
At all. Right, go to the dark side, nothing to fear.
He's always been very
Apparently
gay.
the Antichrist.
He's very, very gay.
So now that we're up to speed on what the VVS is about, let's talk about this year's and some of the people who spoke there.
My Auntie Chris was very gay.
Okay, Michelle Bachmann knows how to put on a good show at the Values Voter Summit. But this year she had a very particular subject she wanted to talk about, and that is the threat of Islam around the world. Here's Michelle.
Well, Mr. Obama, Mrs. Clinton, we want our 1980s foreign policy back. Peace through strength. It was a tragedy to release the 5 top Taliban leaders from Guantanamo Bay. Perhaps nothing will change the world more than your foolish lifting of sanctions on Iran as they are racing toward completing nuclear weapons. And unthinkably, we have the first anti-Israel president in American history. That's the Obama-Clinton legacy.
Did Marcus slap her during one of his conversion therapies? What happened? How did she get that? Was that makeup, or did she have a bruise?
I think that was makeup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you're cosplaying Sarah Palin, sometimes you go too far with it.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah. So she's worried about the threat of Islam. What I love about it is she and everyone else there wants to get out in front of the whole Hillary thing. They're worried about her running, obviously, and so you see her there talking about the Obama-Clinton foreign policy. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, Hillary Clinton is not the Secretary of State anymore. She didn't even stop being the Secretary of State this year. It wasn't even the end of last year. It was in the very beginning of last year, and she's still trying to say it's all due to Hillary Clinton.
She said that in her speech that a Clinton presidency, that'll be Obama's 3rd and 4th terms.
Yeah.
Well, I would like, I like her idea of going back to the 1980s foreign policy of arming terrorists in exchange for money that we could send illegally to South America to overthrow democratically elected government, stuff like that. That's the kind of foreign policy I like. I like when we have our Marines in a war zone and then they get blown up by terrorists. We just take the Marines out. That kind of muscular foreign policy.
The one that created Al-Qaeda, that Osama bin Laden saw and said, America's weak, I can attack them and they won't fight back. Or the kind of foreign policy that sent those Marines, despite warnings from congressional Democrats and normal congressional Republicans, when there were normal congressional Republicans, who said you can't send those Marines to Beirut and not give them the authorization to fight. But we didn't. We couldn't even pick up our weapons. Some of those guys didn't even have loaded weapons.
This is correct.
Right, so we put him in that situation despite everybody saying to Reagan, no, 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 but he thought that was the right thing to do, and he may have been right, but the end result was that, of course, that weakness left, whatever it was, nearly 300 Marines dead. Yeah. I guess that's what she means, right?
Yeah. Not as
Because she's got
Benghazi.
everything else right, like the top 5 Taliban members being released in the Bo Bergdahl exchange, when we know that I think, 3 of those guys were like cab drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
also, it was endorsed by John McCain and many other people before they realized they could make a political football out of it.
Yeah, and by the way, so you mentioned Osama bin Laden, but the foreign policy that she is deifying there was where we train and arm and fund Osama bin Laden and the Mujahideen who would eventually become Al-Qaeda. Right. I thought that they were a big scary threat that she talked about in the rest of her speech, but for some reason arming them and setting them up for the rampage that they could then engage in is fine.
I think she continues to be one of the best stand-ups working.
I agree. You can't parody that.
For not on your life.
No, that is high satire.
Yeah. Well, so the first clip was pretty funny. In the second one, though, I think her rhetoric becomes a little bit dangerous. Let's hear her talk again about Islam.
Oh, good.
As the rise of radical Islamic jihad, although that's redundant, dominates the headlines, we are seeing this enemy as pure evil as they are cutting off the heads of innocent people. This is a spiritual warfare, and what we need to do is defeat Islamic jihad. Sadly, our president has the wrong prescription. He even fails to acknowledge their motivations for bringing about jihad. Yes, Mr. President, it is about Islam. And I believe that if you have an evil, the order of this magnitude, you take it seriously. You declare war on it. You don't dance around it. Just like the Islamic State has declared war on the United States of America. You kill their leader. You kill their council. You kill their army until they wave the white flag of surrender. That's how you win.
That's right from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah,
is it not?
Right. I think mainly about killing the leadership, the military leadership.
Or was that where Jesus, was that from when he gave the Beatitudes? Was that the speech? I can't remember which speech from Jesus that was, but the kill their leaders, that's definitely. And you can tell that's high satire because not once does she break even a little. Like, I mean, she's amazing. Yeah. She doesn't even break it out of one. I thought she'd wink a little or a little crack in the smile because I can't do it that good.
She's getting the Mark Twain Prize this year. She's getting it.
Yeah, because when they're on Saturday Night Live, sometimes they'll see the cue card and they'll break it a little bit and the crowd loves it and so forth. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, she's much better than Tina Fey.
As we should remember, though, also that what she says there is that this is not about jihad, extreme Islam. It's about Islam, she said. That's Islam. She says jihad and Islam are the same thing. So when she says kill their leaders, I mean, essentially she's saying kill. I don't even think I'm putting words in her mouth. She wants to kill the leaders of every Islamic country until they surrender and live their life in a Western manner that she finds acceptable.
What's your problem, pussy?
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Wait, why don't you go call Jimmy Carter and go have some soup?
So, look, just the idea that if we kill enough members of ISIS, they're going to surrender, as if that has ever allowed us to defeat a terrorist organization, is obviously ridiculous. And look, you can criticize the military campaign that we're currently waging, and we do, and we should, because we don't understand it. We don't understand what it's supposed to accomplish. But at least the president is trying to make clear to potential Muslim and Arab allies that we're not at war with his religion. And then she goes up there and says to every Muslim around the world, you should be scared, because we're not just coming for ISIS, we're coming for Islam. We are fighting against Islam. That is the spiritual warfare that we need to engage in. And that's exactly the sort of, I guess, theological missteps that President Bush made early on when we were invading Iraq, talking about it being a crusade and all of that. That's how you galvanize opposition to the U.S. abroad, is making them think that we're coming for their religion and their culture.
She is furious that Minneapolis has less Norwegian purity and Swedish purity.
That's right.
There are many Islamists in Minneapolis. If you've been there recently, you'll notice there's a huge influx. She's clearly very upset about that.
I looked up because she's not running again.
Yeah.
And I looked up her district, the 6th in Minnesota. It's just under 96% white.
Oh.
So it's 95.6% white. There are more Asians there than blacks. And 1.3% Hispanic, 0.4% Native American. So it's 0.4% other. And I think that's mostly what she's concerned with. That nearly 0.5% of the other.
Really got her goat.
Yeah, that percentage mainly ISIS terrorists.
Who's
I
dumber,
think.
Sarah Palin or Michelle Bachmann? It's a tough call.
Michelle Bachmann. Sarah Palin is faking some percentage of it and playing to the base. I think Michelle Bachmann's more honest.
I think Sarah Palin is much dumber. Yeah, and I think
Really?
I think Michelle Bachmann might be more dangerous.
Yes.
But I think Sarah Palin beats everybody in a dumb
Well,
off.
I think Sarah
Louis
Palin's
Gohmert.
more dangerous because I think she's way better at it. Like that's the poor man's Sarah Palin there. No, and nobody in the crowd cared. If that had been Sarah Palin saying the exact same things, they would have been cheering, yeah, go Sarah. I mean, she can barely sell it. There's no energy, there's no fire, no passion in what she says.
Why is that? Why is Sarah Palin? Well, because I don't know. Maybe she just has more personality than Michelle Bachmann. I don't know what it is, but you were right about that. They would have been screaming had it been Sarah Palin,
Yeah.
but they really seemed indifferent to Michelle Bachmann.
She wasn't making great eye contact. She stared in one side of the room for a long period of time. You know, we saw her give that when she gave the Tea Party response to the State of the Union. Yeah, I mean, she was just miserable. I mean, whatever. She got thrown under the bus a little bit there, but she couldn't recover. She's not good at this. Yeah.
She's a loon, as they say in Minnesota.
That's right.
So they know that. They smell that on her. That's a tough room to play anyway. It always has been. That club. Have you worked there?
Oh, yeah. I got fired before Saturday. Are you kidding me?
It's a very, they smell bad comedy. And if it.
Don't accept that. High bar there. I think we have one more video speaking about our potential allies amongst moderate Syrians.
As the rise of radical Islamic jihad, although that's redundant, dominates the headlines, we are seeing this enemy as pure. And I also believe the president's decision to train and arm the so-called vetted moderate Syrian rebels is a tragic mistake. Because here is the ugly truth. They will never be vetted. And they certainly aren't all moderates.
Vetted. I just love that term, vetted. They will never be vetted. What is it? But it is, you know what? I have to say she's making a point that I kind of agree with, because she's saying that Barack Obama is going to reach out to moderate Muslims in Syria. The motherfucker can't even reach out to moderate Republicans in Congress. Are you shitting me somehow?
Well, it turns out there are more moderate Syrians than Republicans.
Oh, yeah. Maybe there is. Oh,
you have some Bachmann quotes from
We do, actually. So I guess it's a good day. I mean, so you mentioned the fact that Michelle Bachmann, who is currently Congresswoman from Minnesota, is not going to be running again. Somehow that escaped me. I did not know that, and I got very excited when I saw that. So she's going to be leaving us in not much longer, and I think as we look to her exit to go off and become some sort of commentator for Fox News, it would be nice to look back at least briefly on some of the crazier things that she's said that we've probably covered on this show. The first one, I don't think this needs much explanation. She was talking at the Tea Party, and she said, "Our movement at its core is an intellectual movement."
That's funny. That's right there. She is. She's funny.
There you go.
Yeah.
She is funny.
Yeah.
On the edges, it's about being ridiculous, but at the core, it's about intelligence. But
that one guy, very intellectual.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I think you were here when we were covering her speech about carbon dioxide. I think it might have been you.
Oh, let's watch.
Maybe Ben. She said carbon dioxide is portrayed as harmful, but there isn't even one study that can be produced that shows that carbon dioxide is a harmful gas. Do you remember what she really said, though?
Let's enjoy a clip 8 here. This is my favorite, always will be my favorite, maybe my favorite clip ever in the history of this show,
really?
Of conservatives speaking, because this gets away from her. And this goes to John's point that she's dumber than Sarah Palin.
Okay.
Because it's hard to maintain that she could possibly be smarter than anyone. Here she is.
But carbon dioxide is perhaps 3% of the total atmosphere that's in the Earth. So if you take a pie chart and you have all of Earth's atmosphere, carbon dioxide is perhaps 3% of that total. What part of human activity creates carbon dioxide? If carbon dioxide is a negligible gas and it's only 3% of Earth's atmosphere, what part is human activity? Human activity contributes perhaps 3% of the 3%. In other words, human activity is maybe 3% contributing to the 3% of carbon dioxide that's in Earth's atmosphere. It's so negligible, it's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent. It can hardly be quantified.
Hold on, are we allowed to show an episode of Cosmos on air? I don't think you're allowed.
I want to get high with her. That's all. She'd be awesome in the room.
Yeah, she would do the whole thing about, you know.
The 3% of 3%.
I like how she says, in other words, and then she uses the exact same word. Exact same word.
You don't hear a lot of people say in the same words.
In the same words, but a different sentence.
But a new sentence that starts now.
But I love how she all of a sudden can go, hey, it's only 3% of 3%. And maybe we're supposed to go, son of a bitch, those scientists have it all wrong. So why don't they listen to Michelle Bachmann's 3% of 3% thing?
When she's not speaking, she's in her backyard with beakers and stuff studying the atmosphere.
Yes.
You don't know that. A couple of other crazy things. She was speaking about the Constitution. She says, but we also know that the very founders that wrote those documents worked tirelessly until slavery was no more in the United States. I think it is high time that we recognize the contribution of our forebears who worked tirelessly. Men like John Quincy Adams, who would not rest until slavery was extinguished in the country.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Off by a couple decades.
Because he was still not resting in the grave for about a decade and a half. He was restless. They would go by his grave, still upset that we have slavery. Mm-hmm.
He's also, by the way, not one of the founders.
No, he's not one of the founders, and I'm trying to think of a way that the founders could have gotten rid of slavery. Oh yeah, they created the whole country. They just could have said no slavery, but they didn't, nor did they even consider it.
Since she is the Eleanor Roosevelt of comedy, what do you think she'll do when she retires to the Minnesota countryside?
Hollywood Squares match game.
Should be the Center Square. Should be the Paul Lynde Square.
Dancing with the Stars is not inconceivable.
You know, what I think is interesting is that most people in her situation, when they quit, a high-profile member of Congress, like they would, you know, these people are quitters. They just quit now. Like, I mean, go make your money now. Yeah. So I think she doesn't have the job lined up. Because I think it's odd that I mean, what's the point of her staying in Congress right now?
Right.
I mean, literally nothing's happening. She's not running.
I mean, if you're Target or your corporation in Minnesota, do you want her on your board of directors? What strings can she pull in Washington other than like the string on the hem of her?
Right, other than that Marcus Bachmann doll. Could pull the string, make her fondle her. You know, make him fondle her.
I think she is going to follow what she sees as the Sarah Palin model. I think that she's going to try to do something in either the media, do some speeches, do a PAC.
She's going to try to get one of her kids to have a kid out of wedlock and then something like that.
And then have a backyard brawl.
But I don't know, but I would consider this that she doesn't have it yet. Mm-hmm. Like she's not Sarah Palin. She does not have that national following. She wasn't the vice presidential nominee. She was a washout presidential candidate from an insignificant member of Congress who said a lot of crazy things and got on TV, including here. So I would just imagine that most of these people in this situation, they've already gone and they've already quit and they've already got the job lined up with Fox, so they've got the book. And my hunch is, look, she can write a book. She'll get some money for writing a book, but it'll do incredibly poorly. America doesn't care what she has to say.
Roger Ailes isn't going to hire her.
I don't think Roger Ailes is going to hire her. I think that's right. I don't think she is.
No way.
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm struggling to come up with exact examples, but I do think that she's one of the ones that Fox has, from time to time, been willing to sort of throw under the bus.
I see
they don't rally around her like they do with others.
I see her making samples at IKEA. What do you think?
Meatball samples at IKEA?
Yeah. Maybe.
When you say that she could write a book, you mean like this book?
Exactly. But not quite as
called
funny.
Your Country's Just Not That Into You, available now on Amazon, wherever books are sold.
She'd probably get a hardback, I think. I would imagine.
Ow. Threw him under the printing press there. Okay, we've got a little bit more Values Voter Summit for you, though. At the Values Voter Summit, there's a couple of different ways that you can sort of whip up the audience, try to get some press for yourself. You can either appeal to Christianity, or you can try to scare the pants off of people. Texas Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst is going to go with the second option.
So, because, ladies and gentlemen, I'll probably say it again, if we don't stop the bad guys at the border today, they're going to be in your neighborhood tomorrow. And literally the president opening up the red carpet for him to come here. And then talking about amnesty by executive order has made millions of us all around the country really mad. Bottom line, again, if we don't stop the bad guys at the border, they're going to be in your hometown tomorrow.
Every time we see the Values Voter Summit, there's always a tremendous, like, none of these people are so unhappy with everything in life that even in their own brand of crazy, when presented with crazy, they can't muster anything other than a smattering of applause. Yeah. Like, nobody really gets them excited because they're so hostile to the like, maybe those people aren't that concerned. I didn't come here. I came here to hate gays. I'm not really interested in ISIS crossing the border. Yeah.
Got some applause, I would imagine.
Look, every year we do this, there were a lot of people sitting on their hands for David Dewhurst, who they haven't heard of. Can I go back to one Michelle Bachmann thing, because it's fun, and it's my favorite, and it never makes it in there. This was her on same-sex marriage back in 2006, I think when she was first running. She said, if we allow same-sex marriage, public schools would have to teach that homosexuality and same-sex marriage are normal and natural, and maybe children should try them.
Wow, and then what would happen? We'd have a dystopian future of tolerance and love. That would be horrible.
That's horrible, but I love the idea
strength
that she thinks that teachers who've like dedicated their lives to educating students would just say, and give it a shot. Go ahead, give it a
Listen, today there'll be no monkey bars, but I would like you all to pick a same-sex friend and just get down with each other. You've got 30 minutes. When you hear the bell, clean yourself up, get back here. We have a quiz. Like, what?
Yeah.
Please partake.
Right, so that's why. So, and to me, it's stuff like that as you said, makes Roger Ailes go, yeah, you know what? I got enough crazy. I have enough crazy.
During your leapfrogging games, I'd like you to cornhole the guy in front of you. All right, you guys, get out there and have fun.
Like, just try it.
Just try it.
Just try it. If you don't like it, it's fine.
Yeah. And then we have a quiz. It's the Jizz Quiz game.
Go until you pop.
That's where you go.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So turning back to the Lieutenant Governor, though. Here, let's do 3 and 4 back to back. Lieutenant Governor very worried about what he has found at the border with Mexico.
Today, a lot of our Border Patrol signs in the Texas brush are in English, Spanish, and Chinese. The question is there ISIS activity targeted against the United States? And the answer is clearly yes. Every message that we've seen coming out of ISIS focuses on mobilizing terrorist Islam against the United States. The leader of ISIS has said, "I'll see you in New York." Prayer rugs have recently been found on the Texas side of the border in the brush.
Clearly. Big threat.
I've been to the Texas brush recently.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. And the only thing I found there was Texas brush. I didn't find anything else. But let me ask you guys, this prayer rug story is being circulated in a very superstitious sort of boogeyman thing. I've heard it now, several iterations of it from other people.
But you were in Texas and heard it, right?
And I heard it from someone who has a friend in the Border Patrol. Where did it start?
It started, I think, at Breitbart. It started on a right-wing website. I think it was Breitbart. And it looks like, I think, is that right, JR? JR says that's right. So and they now, what we think that was a, no kidding, an Adidas shirt.
Yeah,
right?
Why don't we show that?
It was an Adidas shirt that was on.
That's the prayer rug.
You don't think that's a prayer rug? Are you kidding me? I can see a la droppings all over it.
Well, Nike's making one too, and it's also very.
Yeah.
These are prayer rugs that really go with you when you want to go.
Ironically, they make them. Ironically, they make those prayer
Reebok.
rugs on the Gaza Strip next to SodaStream. Right. So.
I like though.
But the logic of it, Ben, is that these guys are hauling their prayer carpets all the way from the Middle East, crossing the Texas border, kneeling down, praying, and then leaving them there. They're not taking them onto El Paso because El Madar is there. He's going to give them some more.
Yeah, well, there's a terrific sort of Islamic surplus store in Plano, and they just know they get a new, fresh one there.
Yeah, that's right.
I like how tight is that photo to prevent us from having an ounce of perspective.
Yeah.
You know, a little closer, a little closer, a little closer.
If I'm not mistaken, those are leaves.
Yeah.
You don't find that in the Texas brush. There's no deciduous forest there.
Wouldn't it be tracksuit in Jersey? I think
those look like prayer leaves. Are you sure those aren't prayer leaves? Those are scary leaves.
Oh my God! And this guy, this is the lieutenant governor of Texas.
Yeah.
That's good enough for him. Good enough for him. Good enough for him.
I mean, we've sort of skipped over it, but the sign being in Spanish and Chinese.
Yeah.
Why are the Chinese thrown under the bus? What decade is
what
it?
Signs?
Well, you go across.
There aren't any signs out there.
Hey, don't come in here.
Yeah, wait, what does it
say?
Right? This is an illegal border crossing. Yeah, I don't think there are a lot of signs, and if there are, I don't know. You know, if you want, maybe probably so because you cross the border, you get hungry. Maybe they just want to order out. That's what that is. It's actually a menu.
Signs are no prayer carpet parking between 7 and 9 on Mondays and Wednesdays. I think that's what it is.
But why is this gathering like a scrutiny-free zone? Why does no one apply any factual scrutiny to what these people are saying at all?
They don't even they don't do it anywhere anymore. They don't even do it on mainstream news, all right? That's the problem with mainstream news is they don't ever debunk anybody who says something crazy, easily debunkable. They repeat it. They ask the other person who's supposed to be on the other side of the argument what they think, and they've reported it. That's it. Boom, Yeah. So that's it. So there's no scrutiny there. There's no scrutiny on fucking Brian Williams news. Are you kidding me? There's no scrutiny anywhere, which is... It just goes to show you
Cooper has that segment.
So that's the thing. We were talking about this the other day. It's like, so Anderson Cooper has a segment on his news show called Keeping Them Honest. Isn't that the whole point of your whole show is to keep on? Like the St. Petersburg Times, they have that fact check section of their newspaper. They have the fact check section. It's supposed to be a whole one newspaper. The whole thing is a fact check, is it not? Not really, turns out. No, it's not really.
My favorite section on PolitiFact is the no bullshit section.
Even a smaller section of the fact.
A little bit. They have a little bit left.
The only places that do it are like Media Matters for America. I mean, as online does it, and in your old show. I mean, like comedy shows do and John Oliver on it. They do a far better job of running through the most popular things said at the Value Voter Summit and how completely made up they are.
And they have effectively, the right wing has effectively taught or educated their followers to dismiss any news that doesn't line up with their already preconceived ignorant notions of how the world is supposed to be. Yeah. So when Brian Williams reports something that goes contrary about climate change, it's because he's liberal. You just dismiss him. Jon Stewart, he's liberal. They're all liberal. So you just dismiss them, you label them, then you can dismiss them, which is what they do. And everything that's not right wing is considered liberal claptrap. CBS, NBC, even though they're all owned by the same 6 corporations and they're all funded by Walmart, oil companies, and military industrial complex. Somehow they're funding the liberal news media also. So that's what they've effectively done this with their followers, right? The whole right wing, their opposition is accurate information. That's really what they're against right now.
Yeah, that's a great point. So, I mean, I'm sure more videos will come out as the Values Voter Summit continues. So maybe when Jen comes back on Monday, we'll have some more fun with that. That'll be the last I get to talk about, though. And it's a fun time of year because you get to see the crazy on full display. Anyway, that's all the time we have for right now. We do have to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have some more political news and fun for you. We'll be back in just a minute.
Who wants to build me a website? Bueller? Bueller? Hello? Anna, baby, build me a website.
Jake, you're a grown man. You can't figure this out?
I can't. You're welcome, Internet.
Young Turks, everybody, welcome to the show. We have a power panel here. It's Gina Grad. She's the one on the end. Brian Unger, Jimmy Dore, Ben Mankiewicz.
And that last story was fantastic. Our next story, we're going to describe a Playboy centerfold for you. We're not going to show it to you. We're going to tell you what it looks like.
All right. So dare we try and get through? All right, here we go. All right. So Italy's Catholic bishops are furious about controversial artistic depictions of popular Ken and Barbie as the Virgin Mary and a crucified Jesus Christ and other saints. Two Argentinian artists, Marianella Pirelli and Poul Paolini, produced 33 dolls of various religious figures for a show named Barbie, the Plastic Religion, which opens in Buenos Aires on October 11th. The artist collection featured on the Facebook page includes religious figures from Catholicism, Judaism, Hinduism, and Buddhism. Although the artists decided against creating a Ken doll as Islam's prophet Muhammad, they do depict Jesus being crucified on a cross. On their Facebook page, the two artists write in Spanish that they were in no way, there was no way they would depict Muhammad out of great respect for Islam, but stress they did not intend to offend any religion.
Such horseshit. They're terrified.
Yeah, they don't want a fatwa.
They're terrified about Muhammad, and they're like, we'll do it anyway. But we'll do the other ones anyway because they're not going to, the Jews aren't going to, there's no Jewish fatwa.
Right.
So we can do whatever we want there. So I don't understand how that Rome, the Catholic bishops in Italy, would be outraged about this doll depiction of the Virgin Mary and Jesus more so than any other one.
Well,
They have a lot of free time on their hands, Ben. I don't know what you think they're doing over there in the Vatican, but they're not making widgets. They're just sitting around looking for shit to get pissed off about and telling you where to put your penis. What the fuck else do they do all day? These guys aren't making shit. They're just collecting money and talking, right? And then they go home and masturbate with a young boy. What are these guys doing? I don't know what they do. What do they do in the Vatican? They don't produce shit. They don't make shit. They don't talk. All they do is they talk about stupid shit like this. Yeah. Why don't they shut up?
And nobody would have ever heard of or seen this exhibit, but now everyone's
going to know about it. Now I know about it. Yeah. I'm going to go check it out.
In Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm not going to go.
Oh, I got to go.
I'm not going to go to Argentina. Are you out of your mind?
What, do they speak Chinese down there? What do they speak?
But is there I don't know. It just strikes me as weird that there's somehow like because people have artistic interpretations of Jesus everywhere, but somehow I guess Barbie.
You know who's not pissed off about this? Oh. Jesus. Yeah, Jesus, Mother Mary couldn't probably give a shit about any of this. That's what I'm guessing.
And the picture of Ken portraying Jesus, and I don't spend a lot of time in Catholic churches, but kind of looks like the Jesus in churches, doesn't it?
Looks exactly like it.
He looks, he has a serious expression and a nice
Catholicism
figure.
is a death cult. Oh. So that's what that is. You walk in, you see a guy being tortured up on a cross. That's the first thing, the last thing you see. They're just a big death cult.
And you grew up Catholic.
I grew up 12 years Catholics. My parents are really Catholic, like they almost molested somebody. I mean, super Catholic. Probably, that's a joke.
If you...
Why you got to sit there with that straight face like that and hurt me?
Listen.
Okay.
I think those dolls would sell here in this country as legit.
Like legit, without no artistic interpretation,
maybe that's the beauty of the art.
Right.
Like you could sell those on Pat Robertson's channel.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying, right?
Or if there was a religious HSN or something.
Yes.
Yeah, where they go. Our next item is this. This is an amazing.
How is that?
We are so happy to have these for the holiday season. Yeah. It's Ken and Barbie. Ken's being crucified here.
Yes.
And here's Mary's birthing a baby in the manger.
How is it different than the manger scene I used to set up?
Right, that's what I'm saying in the beginning.
Well, I'm just going to say it again, all right?
I just said it. I said it first.
I'm just saying that I can say it again. It's a free world.
I think Brian makes a great point. These would sell really well, and they should. Right. But they are, as Jimmy said, they're outraged. The only thing is, it's great. They're just outraged. There's nothing they can do, and in an incredibly Catholic country like Argentina, their outrage is only helping Mariana Pirelli and Poul Paolini.
I've done so much anti-religious stuff, and the Pope won't say a goddamn word about it.
He will ignore you.
Nothing.
The bishops have ignored you.
That's the worst kind of oppression.
You said they went home and they masturbated with small boys.
Come on. Nothing.
What do you have to do to get these people's attention?
Please condemn Jimmy's book.
The book talks all about. There's a chapter about what's wrong with Catholics in the book. Check it out. They won't say a goddamn thing to me.
I just wrote up a little thing in the monthly TCM guide for Jules Dassin movie called Never on Sunday with his wife, Melina Mercouri. And she plays, it's set in Greece in 1960, and she plays a hooker. And she's a hooker completely by choice. Like, she loves her friend, she hangs out, she has some rules that she follows. There's a line in there about, can I see you tonight? She saw him with the baker at 9, I'm with the cobbler at 10, I'm with the laundry guy at 11, so I could see you after that. And she's Melina Mercouri, so she's sexy and delightful and she loves life. And Jules Dassin falls for her, but he wants to reform her because he's an American visiting. And the movie made for $125,000, $130,000, something like that. Of course, it comes to the United States, the Catholic Legion of Decency, they denounce it. Right,
CLD.
and then an Atlanta movie theater tries to ban it. United Artists challenge it, one of the first successful attacks on a local censor, and they won in court to prevent the movie from being banned. Made $4 million, right? Like, I mean, I don't know how much it would have made, but of course, nothing could be better than, oh my God, the Catholic Legion of Decency hates this movie. I can't wait to see it, right? And by the way, it's delightful and all about how Americans sort of go overseas and we try to impose our values, what we think is right, on other people.
Do we do that? Is that part of our culture? Oh.
They don't like the Malibu crucifixion scene for
the manger's replaced by a dream home.
Dream home Barbie giving.
Well, it's
the Corvette that goes with Mary. That's pretty cool.
That's
a lot of girls
driven
like
by
that.
the three wise men.
Sorry.
All right, what's next?
Anyway.
So, this is my favorite story. An enterprising born-again Christian couple in Florida is taking their 3 favorite things and combining them into one great website. Christy Parave and her husband Dean have created a website geared toward bodybuilding Christians who want to wife swap. The fitness gurus said they got sick of finding swingers online who couldn't meet their standards, and so they took to the road and have been meeting couples who want to get down before God ever since. Christy and Dean met at a bodybuilding competition, by the way, and defend their penchant for sex outside of marriage by saying, and I quote, "I don't think God would be mad at what we're doing. At first, I was conflicted, but the more we looked at it, the more it makes sense to us." And also, my other favorite quote, "If all the swingers are sinners, what's the best way to talk to the sinners? Join them, right?"
I don't think God would be mad at me. I don't think God would be mad at what we're doing. At first, I was conflicted, but the harder I got, the more it made sense to us. Yeah.
Such a good workaround for the Bible.
Well, you know, it sounds funny to us, but you know, in my mind, religion is nothing more than mental gymnastics to begin with, right? So, I mean, this is just more. It kind of flows out of that broken thinking, right? So, if you believe there's an invisible man in the sky who cares where you put your penis in the first place, right, you can make him think it's okay to put it somewhere else, too. It's all fucking made up anyway.
As long as the people who, in their warped way of thinking, as long as all the people who are either putting or accepting the penis also believe in the imaginary man.
In the imaginary man, sure. Of
And
course.
wouldn't you like to be in the room for that negotiation between 2 couples who are Christian bodybuilding swingers that go, they said the other couples didn't meet our standards. What standards?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you love to be in that room?
They weren't
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I like to imagine how irritated those other couples are. Like the other couples must have great stories about it not working out with these guys. Yeah. First of all, they're bodybuilders, which is already ridiculous, right?
Bodybuilding in Florida and swinging.
Yeah, totally. Right.
The 3, if you don't have impotence after those 3 thoughts, how? There's no bigger term.
We're gonna do.
Hey, I'm in Pensacola. I'm using steroids. Fuck my wife. That just doesn't get me at all. There's just, I'm looking for a Greyhound bus ticket out of Pensacola as quickly as possible.
I'm in Pensacola. I'm using
taking
steroids. Fuck my wife.
No offense to the folks down in Pensacola.
Sure, go for it.
By the way, if you ever write an autobiography, great title.
Thank you.
The very quick story, that clip obviously ended there, but very quick story. Have you ever been to a swingers club?
Yes.
Have you ever been to a swingers club?
Where's this going,
you had.
Ben?
Because it's just relevant. Cenk is not here, but I've been to one swingers club.
Really?
By myself in Las Vegas. I was in Vegas.
I saw you! You son of a bitch!
Nobody.
I was like, what is that guy doing in the corner?
He's got an ashtray in his mouth and his hands are tied behind his back. Wait, that's Ben!
And he still cares. Go ahead.
The funny thing is that the week before I went to that swingers club, and I was there for like 40 minutes.
The red door?
The green door.
The green door.
The
that's
green
it.
door.
Really?
Right. That's
What's
right.
the address?
It was it was as off-putting a situation as you could find yourself in. And either the week before or the week after, totally unbeknownst to me, Cenk went to Vegas with his friends and went by himself to the same
And what happened there? Can you just
Yeah,
fill
I
us
mean,
in
what happened
quickly?
there is you walk around and there are a lot of very, very overweight people, always with the guy's head shaved, and they're having public sex, right? And then there are a bunch of guys watching, and then there's like one moderately attractive couple closing in on 50 that is sort of, and they're like looking around for who they might take home, and then there's just a bunch of single guys who you instinctively think you're better than, except you realize you're there too, and you're just watching people have sex also.
That's legal in Vegas?
Huh?
That's legal in Vegas?
Yeah, I think it's a private.
Legal in Riverside.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. It's just a club. It was but it was a bad scene, man.
Yeah. Well,
And
how depressing is this sentence? I was covering it for a news story in the Inland Empire.
oh, is that right?
Yeah. So, but and and
I was covering it. That's
I,
what I was doing.
And I did.
And that's what I was doing.
I was
But you know what?
covering it.
I left that part out.
I told them I would have been happy to participate if there was one man who wasn't mustachioed, in a dress shirt, and socks with no pants. And they couldn't find a one. And so there are these couples everywhere, and you're up near, like, it's like a low ceiling attic, and like I was kind of sitting there, and they wave at you, and I'm from Kansas, so you wave back. But I didn't know that was an invitation, so I was waving at everybody and disappointing people left and right.
Oh, I bet so.
Yeah.
I bet you're very popular.
Thank you very much.
Right?
I
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, but at this one, women were allowed to go in any room, but guys couldn't. Guys had to be escorted by
There
a
were
lady.
no women there.
Oh, really?
Where at this place I was at, there were 4 women, and they were all getting pounded.
Right. Well, that was the other reason I was invited, because that was a terrible segue. But the other reason I was invited was because a guy couldn't show up there without a female, and they were like,
I
we
wish
need a
that rule
fourth.
had been. That rule had been in effect. It would have saved me 40 minutes. It would have kept me out of there.
What's the Craigslist ad again, Brian? What's the Craigslist ad? How does it sound? How does it go?
I'm sorry.
the Pensacola.
I'm in Pensacola. I'm hopped up on steroids. Please fuck my wife. I believe that's what it's hashtag. They don't do hashtags on
Rampant
Craigslist. But at least these guys have brought it into the evangelical realm, which I think makes it way more acceptable. Listen, we're swingers. We're fucking each other, but at least we believe in God. So go ahead, pound my wife from behind. And there's a picture of a Ken doll crucifixion going on the wall up there. You might want to just keep an eye on that. You know, I love Florida because they're innovative and they're constantly pushing the limits.
You know, I went to a Christian swingers club one time, and we did. It was during Lent, and we did the Stations of the Cock. It was a little different.
I don't know what that means, but I think it's funny.
They have a Stations of the Cross. Christians do Stations of the Cross during Lent. You go, and they every time that Jesus drops his cross, they have a little thing, and you throw some. Anyway, that's the joke. Stations. Okay.
I think we're supposed to drink on that.
Yeah,
I already finished my thing.
You sipped it. You sipped it right down.
Anyway.
How did they infuse the fish smell into the ice cubes?
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
That's very artful.
Yeah,
That's
there was
really
something in
nice.
that freezer that was probably here since the building was erected.
Because
Hey, Bob, your quads are looking awesome. Do you mind? What's the sermon on Sunday? Hey, my wife is ready and accepting and is willing. You might want to. Anyway.
And muscular. Yeah.
My
wife is ripped.
Vagina cookies?
Yeah,
All right. So a mother who recently tried to take sex education into her own hands and her own kitchen recently became an internet sensation. This woman, who goes by the name Autumn Lily Speaker on Reddit, freaked out when she brought at her daughter's 2nd grade class when the teacher refused to serve a tray of cookies that were decorated like vaginas to the rest of the class. Now, real quick, this whole story was shared on Reddit by someone who claims to be friends with the teacher named J.P. Studley.
I like the second one from at the top.
Yeah, that's a meaty cookie. So take it with a grain of salt.
It's a meat curtain.
All right, do you want to hear this story? This is crazy. So the teacher encourages parents to bring a snack for the class if the kids are behaving themselves during that week. So it was Autumn's turn to bring a little treat, and she walked in with a tray of cookies and said to the second graders, "I decided you can use these to teach the kids about the woman's vagina today." Sure. The teacher then told Autumn she'd be doing no such thing, and that's when all hell broke loose. According to the Reddit poster, Autumn, in front of the whole class and all the children, freaked out on the teacher and said how she should be proud of her vagina and that she's accepting a woman's role in life because she's a teacher.
I can't imagine a worse scenario than being a kid and hearing your mom yell at the teacher
about vaginas.
You should be proud of your vagina.
Funny you should say so, because obviously she stormed out, left the cookies, which the teacher then scraped off the icing, gave to the kids. Apparently they were delicious. But then emails came in later to the teacher going, "Why did my child learn the word vagina today?" So there was a lot of problems with that. Autumn's child is no longer enrolled at that school. She's not allowed on the property anymore. And she actually sent the craziest email to the teacher. I'd like to give you some highlights, if I may. And it's a long email, but I'll give you the good stuff. "You settled for less when you became a teacher because that is known as a woman's job." There's more. "We as women should stand together and inform," remember this was for second graders, "inform people about the vagina and how to please it. I will no longer be participating on Fridays due to the lack of disrespect I was shown today."
No, please, don't go.
Yeah. The lack of
You'll be
disrespect,
missed.
though.
She said lack of disrespect?
Yes, she did.
No, she was disrespected.
Yeah. Finally, she ends it by saying, "So I will be taking or trying to take my child out of class due to your cliche role in life in being a teacher and not wanting to empower women. Here's the kicker. I hope you end up with an abusive husband that beats you every night."
Wow, she says she's
a feminist.
She's a feminist. She's definitely a feminist. It's really a bummer because the kids aren't going to get those tit brownies next Friday. They were really looking forward to.
You know what? I was just. My dad one time brought chocolate cocks to school.
Sure.
Here we go. Yeah.
You know what? I bit into one of those vaginas cookies, and then my wife goes, "No, that's just air. That's just air. It's not what you think," because it made a noise. Anyway, it was queefed at me, is what I'm saying.
Betty Cocker is funny.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
funny.
look, it's right there.
I like
Who did that?
Who did
Who's
that?
that?
JR, anyone?
Nice.
Nice, JR. You know what? To JR.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ready to spread frosting.
That is.
There we
At a moment's
go.
notice.
This is devolving.
Boy, these ice cubes. This reminds me of the story I was told in the Bible about when God came down and he was talking to Adam and Eve. No, forget that joke. Anyway, but the God just said, how's everything going? He said, "It's going great, God." He said, "Where's Eve?" He says, "She's taking a bath in the lagoon." "Son of a bitch, we'll never get that smell out of the fish." That's what God said. That's what God said. That's from the Bible.
That might provoke the ire of the bishops in Rome. I don't know.
Keep going. That's right.
I hope so.
Gina, one more. Let's get.
Okay.
God, I hope they send you a telegram or something. That would be so great.
Okay. All right. What? Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to read this right from Raw's story because it is full of graphics and.
The best part about the story you're about to read, by far, and read them verbatim.
I will.
The first 3 words.
Oh, here we go. Okay, let's go. Here we go. I'm excited.
I don't even know what's going to be funny now. A Mississippi rabbi.
Done. Done.
It's the name of my country album, by the way. Was kicked out of an eatery after the owner learned that he was Jewish. Rabbi Ted Ryder said he went Tuesday for lunch to Raps Gyros at a Jackson strip mall where he ordered a Greek salad. That's when the owner asked him, a full size or a Jewish size?
Wow.
The rabbi said he asked the owner what he meant by that, and the man said, well, it's small. Jews are cheap and small.
Wow.
Everybody knows that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Digging.
He's coming right at him.
It gets so much worse.
Yeah.
Ryder told the newspaper he was shocked and then asked the man the man asked him if he was Jewish. When the rabbi said yes, he was told to leave the restaurant. Expletives, F-bombs, and since I'd never been the recipient of that before, I was in shock. So I didn't register it until the second or third time he told me to leave, Ritter said. It was a bit surreal, so I left. The restaurant owner, John Ellis, then told the Clarion Ledger to explain the incident. Called the paper to
thank you.
Yeah, that he wanted everyone to know that it was basically just a big misunderstanding. Here's his defense. If we misunderstood each other, I'd gladly embrace him and make friends, Ellis said. It was extremely busy. He was extremely indecisive. I don't know if you've ever been in a small place like this, but if he misunderstood me, I'm sorry. Another fake apology. Ellis, who also goes by...
Why did you read that in a Jewish accent?
Is that what that is?
It felt very...
Jewy?
Jewish? Jewishness.
Right.
Or blackish. I'm sorry.
Is there a way that Jews sound?
I
Brian?
didn't know that either.
You know, I'll keep going.
Okay, so Ellis, who also goes by the name Yanni Alice, said he,
So the guy who owns
John
the restaurant
Ellis is-
also goes by Yanni Alice.
No
yeah.
way.
He
So-
said he hoped to meet sometime with Ritter, and the rabbi said he would gladly accept the offer. Now, this is great. This is what Ellis says. If this man is a holy man and a man of the cloth, maybe he should be saying, "It's my misunderstanding," Ellis said. "We didn't beat him up. We didn't damage him in any way. There's cameras over here. They made us look like villains, and we're getting phone calls calling us this and that. We're not cruel people. We're just trying to make a living." The shop owner then said he sells a Jewish salad that includes potatoes, cucumbers, tomatoes, feta, and grilled onions and balsamic. I'm Jewish. I've never had that salad.
It's not a Jewish salad. That's a salad with potatoes.
The addition of potatoes makes it very Jewy.
And they did, of course.
latkes it has in the salad. I didn't realize
with
that.
a dollop of sour cream.
Yeah.
They did compare this guy to the soup Nazi from Seinfeld because somebody else said, "I heard that it could be a little soup Nazi-esque if you don't watch it."
Just Nazi-esque. Turns out, skip the soup.
If you back off the owner, well, that may change your experience here. I didn't have that experience. Ryder said he never identified himself as a rabbi and said that wasn't pertinent anyway, but Ellis said that he was aware of that before the incident. "I heard from the grapevine that he was a rabbi. That's all. I don't know who's the rabbi and who's not a rabbi."
Yeah, right.
This guy Strom Thurmond running this place down there? Like,
is he running the Euro restaurant?
Everything he
strip mall?
said is just another indictment of himself.
It's horrible.
I think there's a grapevine in Jackson, Mississippi that identifies the rabbis. I'm sorry, that identifies the rabbi.
I think Mississippi Rabbi probably is a great band name or a great,
absolutely.
for sure.
Mississippi Rabbi.
Yeah. So wow, man.
So, but that's for him to say, and I'm indignant with my glass of Glenlivet. For him to say, it was a misunderstanding. Maybe he should be apologizing to me. What? Yep. You need to consult a publicist, my friend.
This does make me want to get a hero, though. I do love a hero.
I do too. A good hero.
A good hero.
Little lamb.
Derek Jeter.
Yeah, he is. That's right. Derek Jeter. Right. Yeah. God bless.
Don't ask Keith Olbermann that, though.
No.
Not a fan
Of
Derek Jeter.
Really?
No, he did a whole thing where he took him down the other night. He's like 13th in all the categories. He's supposed to be first in, and he was basically Derek Jeter's not that good, so get over it. That's what Keith Olbermann was saying. But Keith Olbermann was he was a great baseball player himself.
How do you feel about that?
Derek, I didn't see the segment. I read about the segment.
I saw the segment.
And Derek Jeter is a massively overrated player through absolutely no fault of his own. Okay. Like because he's likable.
Yes.
And he played shortstop for the signature team in baseball, and he never did anything wrong. And he's kind of nice, and like he knew not to get married even. Like he's like, I'm going to date a lot of girls, and I'm going to live in Manhattan. Like all things that are likable. And he was for like 9 years way better than average. And then for a long time he was average. But like with Brett Favre, Brett Favre would make 10 dumb mistakes in a game, but then once he'd be tripping and falling and he'd switch to his left hand and he'd shovel it forward, and every announcer would instantly orgasm. Yeah. Only Brett Favre would make that play, oh my God, right? Yeah. And so Derek Jeter had some of that happen to him, but it's not really his fault.
Okay. He won, 6 World Series, 4. I think. So 4 World Series?
Yeah.
He didn't win 5?
No, he won 4.
So, and 3 of those...
he won 5. You're right, he won 5.
He won
96,
5.
and then, yeah.
And then but the first 4 was when he was...
By the way, you're right, he won 6. He went 6th. That's right.
This is the guy who hosts the goddamn sports show over here.
96, 98 to 2000, right? 3 and 9. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Jimmy, political book over here, knew more about Derek Jeter.
It might be 5. It might be 5. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But the Yankees have an unfair advantage. So I mean, I got it. I'm just saying. But that said, I was at a restaurant 2 nights ago when he got that base hit, or last night when he got that hit to score the run to win the game, and you don't like whether you like him or not. You were like, that was a great thing that just happened.
There was a rainbow too.
I went to a Cubs game when Ryan Sandberg was on a tear, right? So he had hit home runs in like 5 games straight, or like 4 out of the last 5 at bats he hit home runs. And I was there at the game, and he's coming up to bat, and my nephew goes, "I have to go to the bathroom."
No.
I go, "No, Ryan Sandberg's up. I gotta go now." And he's like, mental, right? So if I don't take him, he's gonna piss right there.
Right. Sure.
Ryan Sandberg hit a home run.
Did he? Yeah. Well, there you go.
Anyway, it's a great story.
Have you heard of the Stadium Buddy? It's an external catheter for just such a situation.
I have not heard that.
Yeah, it's real.
It's really?
It might be the Stadium Pal. It's Pal or Buddy.
When I used to drive a truck cross country, I used to pee in a boot. But so I know what that's about, right?
Did you really?
They have those things that the truckers, they have it like a cat, they do, and it goes right into the thing.
Is that right? You peed into a boot?
Yeah, so they have a thing, and then they carry it in their boot.
How was your stream?
This was very powerful. I was sitting down. It was great.
Very powerful.
Yeah. But that is a real thing that truckers do that. Right. And did they really have that at the stadium?
Well, it's called the Stadium Buddy.
Oh, buddy, drink.
Is there any more Glenlivet? I could use a little.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up the show, but doesn't mean we can't have Glenlivet.
This second hour seems a little scattered.
Next time, end with the Glenlivet.
Good luck editing this.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah. But none of us have to do that, so who gives a shit? Thanks for watching.
Can I tell you one more second hour story before we go?
Yeah.
There was a lady from Florida who had, she claimed she had she paid $20,000 to have a third breast surgically implanted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jasmine Tridevil.
Tridevil was her name, right?
Yeah.
So she got exposed, so to speak, by the local news station in Tampa, who figured out that she had filed a claim at the Tampa airport. She lost a bag, and she said what was inside the bag was a 3-breast prosthesis.
Right.
So they busted her, and everybody's bummed out that there isn't really a woman with 3 breasts. And nobody more pissed off than Tom Johnson from St. Louis, the only man born with 3 hands. Right? So he's really fucking going nuts. But other than that, maybe we should end the show on that.
We could end the show on that.
Okay.
I think we could end the show on that.
She is from St. Louis.
Gina, that's all we got, right?
That's everything.
Good night. Go forward. Jeez, I look like shit. Thank you, everybody.
Drink, he touched his hair.
Jank 2015 is a low-stream, low-stress version of the Jank Uyghur 2008 type. We, as content creators, like to tinker with this all the time. I saw one of the sketches on our graphic artist's desks, and it excited me. We wanted to make sure that the design was perfect, elegant, streamlined. And then we pushed to reality from there. This is something that we really just enjoy doing. The electricity can be felt all around from the smiles on everyone's faces. I think this year's Jank will capture the spirit of the Young Turks in its purest form. His color, his shape, his raison d'etre. You can see his sole purpose. He's one of those things you look at and know that he is full of desire.
Did you know that
The 2015 is pure Jank in its purest form. He's there for one thing, to speak truth for a long time. And that's fun.